My name is Dimitri. Peace be upon your home. Today, we will try to gather everything we have already discussed into one practical framework. How to connect the system, processes, indicators, people's game, and motivation so that the company operates not on honest word, but as a living, managed organism. 1. Chain, system, processes, indicators, people's game, motivation. Let's start with a simple but important chain. System, how everything is generally arranged, structure, rules, culture, strategy. This is the framework and environment. Processes, how work actually flows, from the client's request to money in the account. This is the company's circulation. Indicators, where we have placed sensors, what exactly we measure, what goals we set, for what we pay bonuses. People's game, how employees learn to live within these rules, what strategies become rational for them. Motivation, what levels of needs a person can actually satisfy by working in this system, and what meanings they associate with it. If something breaks at the end, people are not motivated. It is almost always a consequence of what is happening higher up the chain. Either the system and processes contradict themselves, or the metrics create the wrong game, or the motivational expectations from people do not match the level that the company provides them. 2. System and processes. What to look at. The first step is to look at the system and processes, not immediately at the people. Questions to ask yourself: what does our organizational structure look like, and how do processes actually flow through it? Where are our bottlenecks in the value chain? Sales, production, service, decision-making? What formal rules and informal practices create the real habitat for people? The manager's task here is not to fix the person until they understand how the system is pressuring them. Often, low motivation is a normal reaction of a healthy person to a sick system. Chaos of tasks, contradictory orders, KPIs against common sense, lack of basic fairness. 3. Metrics, how they shape the game for people. Next are the metrics. We have already mentioned that KPIs are not just numbers, but the rules of the game. They guide people on what is rewarded here and what should be avoided. If you measure only sales volume without controlling for margin and customer satisfaction, you are shaping the game of sell at any cost. If you pay logistics for minimal inventory without setting service level boundaries, you are shaping the game of cut inventory and let the flood come. If you evaluate a manager solely based on short-term numbers without considering turnover and team condition, you are shaping the game of squeeze people and move on. Metrics drive the game for people. People quickly understand which moves in this game earn points and which lead to problems. It's not about good and bad employees. It's about what strategy they should choose under the given rules. 4. The game for people and motivation. Now to motivation. A person looks at the system and asks themselves a few simple questions. What needs can I fulfill here? According to Maslow, money, security, status, belonging, development. At what cost? How much stress, conflict, loss of time for myself and my family? What behavior strategy is safe and beneficial here? Working at full capacity, at a moderate level, pretending, or looking for an exit? If the basic levels, money and security, are weakly fulfilled relative to the socially conditioned level set by the environment, a person lives in a constant internal deficit. In this state, expecting stable loyalty and heroism from them means confusing motivation with self-deception. They will work until they find a way to improve their basic situation. All value conversations will be perceived more as background noise. That's why the chain is so important. When you only change motivational speeches but do not touch the system, processes, and indicators, you do not change the game for people. Therefore, there will be no sustainable change in behavior. 5. What can be changed tomorrow? Several management moves. Now, the most practical, what can really be started to change as soon as tomorrow? Reassemble one key process from client to cash. Gather people from sales, operations, logistics, manufacturing, and service for 1-2 hours. Draw on the board how the work actually flows, step by step. Mark where it hurts, for whom, and where value is lost for the client. This will give you a live picture of the system, not just a set of complaints by department. Check 3 to 5 of your KPIs for side effects. For each, ask the questions. What behavior does it encourage? What behavior does it punish, even if we don't want it to? If money is paid based on this KPI, what strategy would a normal, non-heroic employee choose? Often, this one exercise is enough to see. This metric needs to be supplemented with constraints, e.g., sales volume plus customer satisfaction. This KPI should be discarded. It creates a destructive game. Make a small game reset in one team. For example, instead of an individual bonus solely for personal results, add a team component tied to the overall process: deadlines, quality, client feedback. Introduce short weekly reviews of one problem, where the team seeks the systemic cause rather than a scapegoat. The goal is to show people that the new rational strategy is to cooperate, not to fight. Check the honesty of expectations towards people regarding their level of support. Look at low-paid positions and honestly answer, what do you expect from them in terms of effort, loyalty, engagement? Align this with the level of Maslow they can realistically fulfill for you, considering their social environment. Where the picture doesn't match, either lower expectations or raise the base, money security, or build processes so that turnover is a normal property of the system, not a catastrophe. Start speaking to people in the language of the system, not just emotions. For any serious management decision, respond to the team with 3 questions. What is changing in the system and processes? What indicators and rules of the game are we changing and why? What new opportunities does this provide you in terms of motivation, income, development, working conditions? People find it much easier to accept management decisions when they see how they fit into this chain. 6. The meaning of the entire structure. If we put everything into one sentence, it would be: management is the art of adjusting the system and processes so that the indicators set a healthy game for people, and motivation is based not on slogans, but on real needs being met. Then the manager has a completely different tool, not how to make people work, but how to change the system so that it makes sense for people to work differently. Peace to your home until we meet again.